Stephen, thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you.
We're very, very delighted to have you here. Tell us a little bit of what you're doing and how is WEF 19? What are the trends you're picking up here that you're going to take back to the Virgin Group?
So right now in the Mojave Desert in California, the bit that I'm dealing with is focused on building a crewed spaceship. So this is a spaceship that is designed to take ordinary people, non-government astronauts, into space, and also to take science experiments, so science research into space as well. So we're looking to democratize space. So far, although those people that have been have had a fantastic time, they come back talking about it for the rest of their lives, only a very, very few people have gone. So we want to change that. So we want to transform the road to space from a very narrow pathway into a broad highway.
Customer experience point of view, what is the focus for, when we're looking at space travel?
The experience is going to be pretty intense, but really profound and beautiful. You have your rocket ride to space, so high acceleration, and literally rocketing vertically out of the Earth's atmosphere. Then a magical period in the black sky of space, in the silence of space, where we'll be allowing passengers to unbuckle from their seats and just put a finger on the side of their seats and they'll float up to the ceiling. And I think what most people will want to do is then to float to one of the big windows that we have all around the spacecraft and look down from the black sky of space to the beautiful Earth beneath. One of the things that I'm hearing a lot about at WF is that that planetary perspective is really key to the future of humanity. And so one of the things that I think we have a real duty to do is to provide that planetary perspective, which comes from looking at the Earth from a different perspective, but then to give those people that have it, and hopefully there'll be many thousands of them, a platform when they come back to share that experience. So to really help to explain that that we're all in this together. We're fellow travelers on Spaceship Earth.
What are the challenges that you're facing, and is there is there support from the ecosystem? How does that work for an organization like yours?
Yeah, there are a lot of challenges when you're doing something like this for the first time. I think it at the moment it sort of boils down to safety, but also making sure that we are progressing rapidly enough. There are no shortcuts to space, I would say, but clearly we're working in a commercial environment, and so we do need to get there as quickly as we can.
Next 10 years are going to see a lot more of what you're doing today. So how are you preparing for the next decade?
Probably the best way of getting the next 10 years right is to get the next 1 year right. So it's about getting the first steps right, and then the rest will follow. And I would say the biggest challenge to that is safety. We need to prepare these vehicles. We need to get experienced in flying these vehicles so that we can say hand on heart to our first passengers that we understand the risks and that we know how to manage them. And that is a challenge. It takes time. You're
at the top of the pyramid when we talk about innovation. What would be your advice to your peer set on innovation for the coming decade?
Well, I think if I look at our own experience at Virgin Galactic, we were really sure that we were very convinced that we would like to take people to space. We had a gut instinct that people would like to go, and such a few people have been in history. It seemed like a good thing to do, but we knew before we started work on this, we sort of had to understand what our principal challenges were, and the first one was safety. That we needed to have a vehicle which was going to be significantly and repeatably safer than the vehicles in the past, and the second was commercial viability. And so we knew there would need to be some sort of fundamental innovation, before we could really start to think about building a business. And so I think, my advice would be, that when you're thinking about a particular business or a particular application, you really need to understand those fundamental challenges and make sure, even in prototype form, that you have got them covered before you really start to build on them. And we had to be patient, before we found that prototype technology, which we believed was elegant and fit for purpose and at least had the potential to meet those two core objectives. Because without those core objectives covered, we would never be successful. So that's certainly, been really, important from our perspective.
Great. Thank you so much, Stephen, for being here. It's been wonderful having you.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.